what's up, everyone? This is Khalif Townes here at the 30th Annual Stellar Awards next to Nancey Jackson Johnson. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Khalid?
Great. So, what brings you to the Stellars?
Well, I'm actually performing for an event that is happening before the Stellars, which is for the Central South. And I'm also here just to celebrate my other peers, servants celebrating servants. That's what I like to call it. I'm here to have a great time.
You recently, earlier this year, you released a new CD. Well, not this year. Last year, you released a new CD. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. The name of that CD is called "The Heart of Nancey," and it's my third project after 14 years. On Pastor Donnie McClurkin's label, which is called Cam Don Music, and it basically is a testament of my heart. As you know, there's no way you can go through 14 years and not go through anything. So a lot of testimony, deep worship, passionate worship. Definitely a shifting in my ministry, shifting in my music. Just my whole mindset has changed because when you're in the presence of the Lord and you go through stuff, you're transformed. So it's a different me, a better me. Yeah, and I'm embracing this season. Just so the record, wonderful producers on that record as well. ASAP Ward produced two tracks. Clay Bogan, who is from New Jersey. Selwyn Arnold, also local, produced. Kevin Bond produced a song, and yeah, and I wrote majority of the songs that's on the record, except for two or three. Yeah, and yeah, that's it.
So, for those who are not familiar with your previous record, kind of tell us the storyline in between the record 14 years ago to the one now.
That's a good question. Wow, I haven't had that one. Um, Relationship was my last album, and that was in 1999. And it was definitely more urban contemporary. I was at a different place in music as well as in ministry. Just newly discovering who I was as a music minister. And those songs definitely embraced the season that I was in, much younger. And I just got married, and so just leaving that single life. And 14 years later, filled with testimonies of God's goodness, forgiveness, testimonies of healing, deliverance, breakthrough, um, financial struggles, you name it, depression, generational curses, also good things, elevation in ministry. The Lord called me to preach in between that time. I ran. Yes, I did. And that's probably why it took 14 years, Jesus, because I was running. Because I'm like, women don't preach. All I know is two verses. And so I was making all those excuses. But I think God was ultimately trying to get me to be who He called me to be. I was busy trying to be who Nancey wanted to be. And He was like, you know what? No, I have a different path for you. You're not going to follow. I know these people you admire, but there's a different call in your life. And I got my hand on you to do that, not to do those other things. So I was kicking and screaming, and here we are now.
The single that's on the name of your project is called "I'm Free," but the name of your single is called.
The new single's called What a Privilege.
Okay.
Hmm.
What was the name of the previous single?
A little longer.
A little longer.
Hmm.
I remember seeing the video, and the video was amazing. I mean, the way you started off the song, and I didn't know you had such a high range voice. Tell us a little bit about that, your previous single and the current single.
Wow. Y'all sure y'all got time? Because that previous single, I didn't write that song.
Okay.
It was a song written by Brian and Jen Johnson. They are CCM artists.
Okay.
And I discovered that song in the middle of a pit.
Okay.
I was on the backside of the desert looking at my life and wondering, what did I do wrong? I'm going to church every week. I'm serving you. I'm over the music ministry. I'm preaching. Didn't want to do that. I'm even teaching the youth. And I really don't like, okay, me and my husband, we humbled ourselves. God, what else? What can I do for you? What am I not doing right? And he said, daughter, you're giving me all your gifts, but what I really need is you. I need all the stuff that you have yet to give to me, all the stuff that you're hiding under that worship, the anger, the rejection. There's still some generational things, still some dysfunctions from your past that I want to get to. And he's so faithful that he don't put us out there unless we're fully equipped. And right there at the computer when I discovered that song, I just began to surrender. And I I got such a release when I begin to say, God, here's everything. Here's my frustrations. Here's my aggravation. I'm not going to shout over this no more, but I'm going to get deliverance totally and completely. So that's what A Little Longer is about. Like, look, you can give me everything, but I want you. So every time I hear that song, even now, it's part of my devotion. Now, what a privilege. You know how in church you're worshiping and there's all of a sudden a prophetic flow and we're worshiping, and this one line just came. What a privilege and an honor to bow at his feet. And the whole church started singing it. And normally, when you get those songs, I'm like, well, it's just for this moment, and then you forget about it. And, it was for that time, and it was wonderful. But I went home and kept singing it. Uh, the Holy Spirit gave me some verses to it. And when I connected with Asaph, who was incredible, Asaph said, what else you got? So I said, well, it's a song we do in church, and I'm not sure if it's anything, but I'll sing it for you. Sung it for him, and he said, girl, we're doing that. We're doing that song. And I'm a worshiper. So I love to worship God out of all the opportunities I have. And I've had plenty, but I've come to understand if you're not alive, you can't do them. So the greatest opportunity we have is to do what we were created to do, and that is to worship God. So that's what that song is for.
That's great. No, you're talking just fine.
Jumping off the plane like a 10.
No, it's just fine, especially after what 5 hour flight. So tell us about, ironically, after 14 years, I'm sure there was some challenges with coming back with a new project.
Most definitely.
Tell us a little bit about the challenges and how you overcome for those other artists that may be out there that once, may have recorded the project 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. How did you overcome that?
Much prayer, much fasting, much decreeing and declaring. Um, I had to get to the place where I really, especially so much has changed in the world with social media and not being accustomed to that and having to connect in that kind of way. It's completely different. The whole selfie thing, taking pictures with everybody everywhere for whatever the reason is, something new. But people embracing this Nancy versus the 14 years ago Nancy. That was one of my concerns. God, are they going to understand who I am now? I'm not trying to compete with myself, but I do want to be myself. And I was just praying that people would accept me and embrace me, this preacher girl, um, who I am now. And the only way I got over that was one, to make sure that I spend the amount of time I need to do in prayer so that my confidence is up to be able to go out and boldly be who God has called me to be. And just embrace where God has planning me. I think sometimes when you're at this level, especially here at the Stellars, um, in this genre, this ministry, you can tend to look at other people and say, okay, well, I don't have those sales, I don't have those likes, I don't have that. I'm constantly renewing my mind and saying, you know what? God has his hands on you. Regardless, we are equally servants. So that's kind of the way I dealt with it. Prayer through everything. Pray.
Your project, I'm Free. What is the overall message that you want people to get from it?
From that last project or from the song I'm Free?
From your current project.
Okay. Huh.
Because the name of the new project is I'm Free, correct?
It's called The Heart of Nancey
Okay.
Jackson Johnson.
Well, we're going to edit that.
The first project is called I'm
I'm free. Okay. I'm sorry.
Free. That's okay. No problem.
So, so, what was the question? I'm sorry. Oh,
From
so from your current, your recently, what is wrong with me today? I'm sorry.
how long you guys have been doing this
Too long. I'm still on Philly time. So, from your recently released project, what is the overall message that you want people to receive from it?
today? That girl loves God. Passion personified. She's not trying to be anything or anyone else. It is raw worship, um, plain and simple. And I pray that people would get delivered from it. The songs are simple and passionate. But I pray that it's that song. You know what? You know how you have a song for deliverance, a song for breakthrough, a song when you want to jam and groove. I hope my songs are those songs when you're in that moment and you just need to connect with God. Put that on. Close the door.
So how can people stay in contact with you?
Well, they can reach out through Facebook, of course. Nancey with an E, Nancey, Jackson Johnson. That's my Facebook page. I also have an artist page, which is Nancey Jackson Johnson Artist Page. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter under Nanjack, Nanjack.
If there's anything that you want to tell inspiring artists out there, what would you tell them?
Hold on to the word that God has spoken in your life. He is not a man that he should lie. He will do exactly what he said. Don't get confused by the timing, but I will say to you, maximize the timing in the spirit. Get prepared spiritually, get prepared emotionally, get prepared ministry wise to be able to embark upon the season that God does has for you. If he did it for me, 14 years, it's a miracle. In this day and time, it's a miracle. Trust me. God's got you.
Well, you guys heard it here at the 30th annual Cell Awards next to Nancey Jackson Johnson. Thanks so much for the interview, and we're looking for great things to come from you. All right. All right.